Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah. So I'm a teacher, Chinese teacher in Singapore, and mainly I'm teaching in primary schools. So more familiar with primary, but I have opportunities to teach secondary in Singapore International School in Hong Kong as well. Okay, so now I have some preschoolers under my, so for some teaching and then some studies. So I would like to share with you my experience, especially in learning and using technology for learning. Um, may I have a show of hand if I talk uh, of reading? What is coming into your mind? Of course, reading, not reading the books for examination, is reading those storybooks or other books which enrich our knowledge for fun, to enjoy. So, what will come into your mind? Any of you, like me, when I was very young, I love to read, especially because when I was young, there was no computer, no iPad, no smartphone, and not even television. Okay, that time the black and white televisions just came in. So we have nothing but books. Although we play games, we play a lot of marbles, a lot of games, but um, after all, the reading is still the best and the most enjoyable moment for me. So I still remember, usually I read until night time and under the blanket with the torchlight. Do you have the same experience? And of course, even reading during the lesson times, right? Under the desk or even covered up by the textbooks, pretend. All right. So this is what we learn from reading. If we love it, we know how important and how good is reading for us. So as parents, as teachers, we always say, we want to give the best to our kid, to our children. So reading must be one of it. I believe you also believe, right? So, but now we look at children when they read, or we want to inculcate the love of reading in them. It's because that we don't have the whole life of their lifetime. Okay, especially as teacher, how many years that we can have with one individual student? The most 1 year, 2 years, or 3. I have only one student, the most is 4 years, and I'm very proud of him because he really established the love in reading, and now he's an adult, and he also set up a reading clubs in Singapore. So I do really believe, and I have my own experience, reading can change a person, can help the person, and can assist his learning forever, right? So, but how do our kids read today? Okay, don't talk about our kids. How do we read today? I also changed my habit of reading, right? Usually, most of the time, still read with phone or iPad. Though we still have the physical books to read, all right? We don't deny that the importance of inculcate our children to read the physical books because that is really in depth for reading when they are learning, they are working or doing professional research study. So those kind of reading still in depth, but the most convenient way for them, for us now, reading is fast and a lot from online. Okay? So no choice, we have to tap on children's interest, children's abilities in using the ICT gadgets to help them to read, especially in many children's in their interest now. They like motions, they like sounds, they like a lot of changes from the gadgets instead of one physical books. So how can we give them this kind of experience to interact with the book. Actually, it is an advantage as well. They really interact with the books, and then they go into the stories, and they have their imaginations, they have their learning uh, from there. So it's not a bad thing. This is what we think, right? So e-book should be good for children, all right? But really, is it good? Cannot just you feel good, I feel good, then okay, we think it's good for children. We must have some professional research to prove that e-book is good for them. So recently in Singapore, there is a study. Okay. Before that, I share with you the challenges in Singapore. I do not know whether it's the same challenges with you. If you do have the same or different experiences, then probably after these sessions, we can have more interactions and sharing. In Singapore, since 1990s, when the IT master plan came in and all the schools are equipped with computer labs, computer desktops in each classroom. So we have the teachers training as well. And so every lessons, every subject, we go into the use of ICT. And so we emphasize a lot using the technology in teaching, and as well as provide the chances for students to do e-learning. Especially this e-learning nowadays in Singapore, almost every school we will set aside sometimes, a few times in a year along the academic year. And then there are certain days we purposely do not have the school in the curriculum time in school. So we set online learning activities for the kids to do the e-learning at home. So we just want them to get used in, if anything happens, like in older time the SARS or H1N1 or any riots or whatever, so that they are still capable to do the learning at home. So this e-learning to teachers, we must be familiar with it. We must know how to set the e-learning materials properly and meaningful for them to do on their own as well. So this is quite common in Singapore now. And in a class of about 30 plus to 40 students, in Singapore now the classroom contact is, we do have students with different abilities, because we just split the students in the same level to different classes, only for the first class, which are high flyers, and then last class, fewer students, but it's more slower learners, because these two extreme students, they need different sets of teaching strategies, materials to make them to be the best of the subjects, and also we try to pull the slow learners up a bit more. So within the central classes, the children are mixed with different abilities. So as the teachers, when I receive a class, there are always students with good results, good standards in Chinese. That says they can score 70, 80 overs marks for the subject, or most of them maybe 50, 60, and even some borderline failures. So with such a mixed abilities class, our teachers, we feel that the most important is how to teach the centralized materials, centralized curriculum, and at the same time we cater to the different needs of our students. So this is our challenge, one of the biggest challenge, because even for everything like promoting the reading program, very hard that we can have a set, though we have a set of class library books in the class, in each class for them to read, but usually the books may not suit everybody's need. Right? So this is one that we need to consider. And of course, we also lack of curriculum time. As exam-oriented education system, we have a lot of exams, tests, assessments to go, and we have syllabus to cover. So, and all other activities. You know, nowadays we have more and more activities which we think is good for students to expose. How to promote reading? Because reading, it really needs time. Children, not like you just give them a book, interesting that, oh, they love reading. They read this book, but next day that you give them the other one, oh, this is not interesting, I don't like. So reading, I think, is a long-term investment that we need to guide them. It requires the reading skills and to love how to read. So, but nowadays, in Singapore, our children, especially for Chinese, they don't quite like reading Chinese because to them it's really very difficult. Though in Singapore, now we have bilingualism education. They learn Chinese and English at the same time since young. But a lot of them now are coming from English-speaking families compared to our time that most of us are coming from Chinese-speaking families. Now about 70% are coming from English-speaking families as their young parents now is bilingual educated and they are more because even they don't learn Chinese when they are young, when they work still all using the English. So this is also another challenge I will face. They really don't like because they don't like reading. Is they do not know how to write. They feel they have a lot of difficulties there. Once they are reading a book, if no one is at their side, he cannot read the books. He don't understand the vocab. He don't understand the sentence or the meaning or what is the picture of. Then he really cannot read. So this is what we need to take into consideration. So recent years, our Chinese teachers, we always think that, oh, since now the young students are ICT saviors, so they are very good in ICT, and they do have their own, okay, even very young kids, they have their own gadgets. So how to tap on their advantage and to give them best in reading. So of course, they like to read online. There are sound, colorful pictures, motions, everything. So if there is an effective online reading program, then it will help teachers. Though we will not give up to promote the reading of physical books. So we always say, when we go for e-learning, e-books reading, we also have, on the other hand, physical books reading. So we pair them together. Concurrently, we should make use of two types of books to cater to students' reading. So, but really, online reading, because usually there are tools to help them. If they don't understand the word, then e-dictionary is there. If they want to know the meaning of the sentence or the words, everything will be explained to them, even without a parent or teacher on their side. So this is the advantage of them. And this also will help them to establish their skills in 21st century skills. So they have this, if they can self-directed learning, then it will help him in other all learnings as well. But once they are reading the e-books, we must make sure that the e-books really can help them to not only to arouse their interest in reading their books, also he or she must learn something, really benefit from the e-books, right? So we hope that those e-books should be guided and should be with all the necessary helps that a kid needs. So, but for teachers, because I do not know whether how you monitor, how teachers are here monitor your reading program in schools. For us in older times, very tiring, because once we promote reading programs, we need to know at least my class every individual students how many books they have read over a period of time, let's say a month. And then what types of books they read. Mostly they are interested in what kind of books. Alright, so we used to print paper for them to record down the title of the books or the authors or the date they have read. Then every month we need to collect and we need to collate and then have the data that for individual and as a whole class, how many books in total the children are reading. But even though you have this information on number of books, the kind of books they read, we still don't have the opportunities to know whether they really read the book or just copy down the title from me, or whether they understand the story. Can they retell? This is the basic requirements as for reading, right? You read something, then you need to tell somebody because you know, and then later you understand. So for us, very, very curious, a lot of work to do, and also we can do up to this stage only, all right? So recent years, in these 3 years, we found Dudu reading system, online reading system, that they do have reports available for teachers. So I think this is what we want, we wish for. It saves all my time, all my energies in collating the data. So once I just have a click, then my class profile, my class students' status of reading, all in hand. So this is really what we want, all right? So just now when we talk about all this, we think e-books will help the students on top of physical books, but really it helps, we need to find out. So recently, there is a research study in Singapore done by the Institute of Education Singapore. They study of 102 preschoolers on their reading of e-books and found that really animated e-books will help to lift students' language skills. This research was just published in April this year in an academic journal in America. What they do is they split these students, these preschoolers, 4 to 5 years, in 4 categories. The first categories, they were given the e-books with sound motion. And the second group, the e-books is just with sound, no motion. The third group, what they have, still e-books, but it's just static pictures. Okay. The last group is just the control conditions. So the student also using iPad, also using gadgets, but just play mathematics games. So the children were given 3 stories in Chinese, and they are shown 4 times over a period of 2 weeks. And after that, they were given a series of tasks to test their knowledge of certain words that they know from the stories, as well as their ability to retell the stories and understand meanings. So the results show that really the first category students, which has the e-book with sound and motion, outperform their peers in other groups. So this is the findings of the results. So the main findings are this. The e-books really can be learning tool for them, because if they don't have any learning, just read the e-books, then that is no meaning at all. And at the same time, they will help improve their language proficiency, especially those who are weaker. In mother tongue language here means, because the study was done in Singapore, so this mother tongue language and now is referring to Chinese. So really it helps the children with lower capability of learning Chinese. And because of the motion in the stories, they direct the children to more details. You know, usually when we read storybooks or even e-books, the pictures, the lines of the story or the short paragraph of the story may not tell a lot from the pictures, because with pictures there are more background scenery or the actions, the motion of the characters. There are more things to tell, so children can use their imaginations, their own interpretations to understand in deeper the stories. So this is how motion help them to tell even complicated stories. So also the studies found out that the children have more longer attention spans. Doesn't like physical books. Once they encountered some difficulties, then no one to help, they will just skip or they will just put away. But because the e-books, there are some helps or there are motion and pictures and everything to help them to understand, so they can read on and have longer spans. And also they knew, because of the test, they really can use news words in the correct context and to tell complicated stories. Alright, so these are the latest findings in Singapore. But when we say that since the children have exposure to all these screens, gadgets, and we can make good use of it, but the chief investigator also cautioned us that not any e-books that you can give to the children. You have to give them the right types. Alright? Only the right type, the suitable ones, or the books with sufficient tools to help them to learn, and then this kind of e-book should be used. Alright? And if there is still times, I'll share with you how I work with my students with all these e-books. Thank you.